All right, well, awesome. Well, nice to meet you, St. Andrews. It's kind of ironic being here because I actually went to the University of Edinburgh, so we're kind of like friendly rivals in a sense. But I won't go too hard on you guys, you know. Even though you don't have a train station, but that's actually why I chose to go to Edinburgh, because they're closer to the airport. But but yeah, wait, before I start, let me just like kind of read the room a little bit so I can like tailor my presentation. So like, how many of you guys here like know how to code? Not many, right? Or damn, quite a few. All right. How many of you guys are like founders, or like you want to be a founder or something like this? Put your hand up. This guy wants to be a founder. There you go. All right, and the rest of you guys are like here for the vibes, I guess. All right, whatever. Let's go. All right, we'll lock in because you got 30 minutes, and I just slammed the coffee, so you're gonna be hearing a lot of yapping, right? Let's go. Next slide. Yeah, this is gonna be a DJ and talk. Like my slides are so scuffed, but you know, you won't be on your phones. All right, awesome. So the topic of my talk is being a student and my journeys of becoming like a professional shipper, or like now I've worked in crypto for like 4 or 5 years. Got a bunch of fun stories. You'll have a laugh, some good energy. So yeah, next slide. Awesome. So like, why should I be telling you this? Like, it's not just like, trust me, bro. I'm like one of the founding engineers of Helio, which I don't know if you know Helio. It's basically like the biggest payments provider on Solana, and it's also on ETH and Bitcoin. It's basically like the Web3 Stripe, if you know Stripe. And also I'm currently building Dexscreener Moonshot, which I don't know, do you guys know Pump Fun? Like some of you guys, right? It's like Pump Fun, but like only like 1% of the market. So we still got a bit of a way to go, but yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, so that's a bit about me. So next slide. All right, awesome. So I'm kind of just gonna tell you a bit of my journey on where I got started in crypto and then where I am now. So these are the beginnings. So if you're a dev, then, or even if you're not a dev, you might have heard of hackathons. Basically, it's like a 2-day competition where you build like an MVP, like a startup MVP. You make some money if it goes well. I was in Edinburgh Uni, and I ditched like all the classes. Like I didn't do any classes. I spent like all my time doing hackathons. This was like during COVID. So during COVID, all the hackathons, they went online, right? So I don't know if St. Andrews has a hackathon, maybe it does. But yeah, every college, every university has a hackathon. So we would like form a team, and we would just go to every single hackathon online during COVID. So like Hack Harvard, Hack MIT, Hack Stanford, like all these hackathons. And it basically paid for like my rent, because I figured out like how to win hackathons. You need to have like nice UI, UX. You need to like be really good at pitching. But if you like figure these things out, you can just like go to every single hackathon every weekend and just like win them all. And that's what we ended up doing. And I mean, like, let me think of a couple good stories. I mean, not many of you guys are devs here, so I won't like go too long about this. But what are some stories? Yeah, like I remember like you're not actually meant to like be. So you're meant to be a part of the college that you do a hackathon for, right? So if you're in like Hack Stanford, you're meant to go to Stanford. But it was during COVID, so it was online. It's usually in person. So my team was like me, some random guy in India, some guy in like Canada, yeah, like some guy in like Singapore, right? And we all applied for Hack Stanford. In fact, like one guy was actually like too young. He was 17. You need to be 18 to do the hackathons. So he had to use his fake ID, like just to do the hackathon. And we ended up like, so we got to the finals, and then like it was like a live finals on Zoom with like there's a bunch of investors there. You know, it's like Silicon Valley vibes, and like we've been coding for like 48 hours, right? So we're in like a coding bender, like super sleep deprived, all in like different time zones. So it's like 3 a.m. pitching for some of the people, and like, you know, we're just in this Zoom call with a bunch of like Stanford guys, and it's our turn to speak. And they're like, oh, like, I've never seen you in the campus before. And we're like, oh, yeah, I spend a lot of time indoors. And it's like, what's your, like, they say, like, what's your favorite place to eat? I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird question. But like, obviously, we've never been to Stanford, so we have no freaking idea. So, like, we just, we just made up some, like, random answer I forgot, but, like, they were super bait. Like they kind of, like, sussed us out. Okay, like, this guy is like not from Stanford. Like he's got a Scottish accent. The Indian guy, he also like he put on an American accent when he did his pitch. So I don't know if you've heard like an Indian guy try to like sound American. Oh my god, man! Like they like exposed us so bad. Like this was live. Oh my god, it was like a nightmare. We ended up like winning like 5K, so it was a success. But yeah, man, I got some fun stories from hackathons. Yeah, the reason I'm trying to think like what can you take away from this? So I'm just kind of I told you guys this is a yap. Like this is a yap. Okay, like, hopefully you'll learn some like good stuff at the end. But I got invited to come to St. Andrews, so I had to take it. Yeah, like definitely do hackathons. Like even if you don't know how to code, you know, like they all need one kind of businessy guy or like a designer or something like this. You meet like so many cool people. You can meet like investors. You can meet like really kind of like high net worth individuals. It's also great if like you want to find a job. You know, like you got a bunch of projects on your belt by the time you graduate. And yeah, if you don't like your work, like if you don't like what you're doing in your course, just like ditch it like I did and just like spend the whole weekend doing hackathons. You can like pay your rent off if you get good. So yeah, that's basically how I started. Like I learned like 10x more doing these hackathons than I did like in uni. Yeah. And on that note, thanks St. Andrews University for hosting me. All right, next slide. Yeah, so how did I find crypto? So, yeah, I fell in love with hackathons, doing one like every week. Then I started going to crypto hackathons because the prizes were like 10x more. And yeah, I was trying to pay off my rent, pay off my not my tuition, but I turned it into almost like a full-time job, just doing these hackathons. Because I kind of like, at that point, I knew I was going to drop out. So I was like hedging my bets. Yeah, I got into crypto by doing crypto hackathons. The first hackathon I went to was ETH Amsterdam. So this was this was in 2021. Went to ETH Amsterdam. I booked a one-way ticket because I didn't have enough money to buy like a return. So I booked a one-way ticket. I slept on the couch in the venue because I didn't get a hotel. Like next to Vitalik Buterin, like he was speaking, like we like walked into each other. He was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Oh, what's up?" That's my claim to fame. Yeah, ended up building like an NFT marketplace. At that point, like I said, ETH was at an all-time high, so you would just have projects just like throwing like all sorts of money just at anything. Like you could literally not have a product. You could just use buzzwords and like a pitch deck, and they would give you like 10K. It was crazy times. Yeah, just like coded for like 48 hours, slept on the couch. We ended up winning. We won like 20K, and that paid for my flight back to Edinburgh. But yeah, so that was kind of how I got into crypto. Yeah, next slide. All right, sick. So as I was coding and as I was like learning and doing hackathons and all this stuff, I was kind of like uni is like so boring. It's like I got bored of like all the stuff I was doing. Like I mean, not many of you guys are devs, but if you are devs, like you know how kind of cumbersome some of the computer science courses are. I mean, like they're really boring at Edinburgh, that's for sure. Like you know, the assignment is like build a Sudoku solver. Like, come on, guys. Like, I don't want my life to be known as like the guy who built a Sudoku solver. So I went there for 2 years, and then I decided to drop out and actually build something like real. That's me. Like, I just put a bunch of random pictures here when I dropped out. That's me dropping out like on Twitch. Like, I was like in the library. Yeah, I was like in the library. Because they had like Edinburgh's got a 24-hour library, so like sometimes I actually slept in the library. That's kind of like random, but until they kicked me out. Yeah, that's me like dropping out in the university library on Twitch. That's the email from like the ITO saying like, oh yeah, you've dropped out. And then like I dropped out, I just started hitting the books. I learned like Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, like everything. And I would just stay up, like just grind out like 18 hours a day. And then I joined Helio. So I joined Helio. At that time it was 2022, February 2022. I dropped out like 4 days later, I got in contact with these two founders based in London. They were like ex-cybersecurity guys. They were like kind of more like experienced like enterprise founders, and they wanted to start like a crypto company. They were looking for devs. These guys were like, you know, super kind of like corporate. And I was like the opposite. I was like super like DJing. So it's like a good mix of two. And yeah, I remember like, I probably shouldn't dox myself because like I'm on like camera right now. They're gonna watch this. But I remember like the interview because they didn't have any, or they had like one dev at that time. So there was like the two founders, they're like non-technical, and then this one dev. And then there was me interviewing. And I remember they were like, okay, so our code is written in like TypeScript. I was like, you know TypeScript, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I know TypeScript. I had no idea what TypeScript was. They were like, oh, all right, like sure, we'll bring you on. Yeah, I had to grind TypeScript for like the next couple of days. But I joined them. I wrote the first line of code in March 2022. That's kind of like when Helio started. And this is actually like the very first like UI of Helio. I don't know like if you guys have actually used Helio. If you have, like it'll make more sense. But yeah, this is like super, super basic. What are some cool stories I have from this time? I remember like our first offsite was like a houseboat on the River Thames, which was pretty cool. And I remember we're just grinding like every day to get this out. I remember like so like I was a student and I came into this kind of professional company run by like enterprise founders. Like I had no idea like, what I was getting myself into. Like I didn't even realize that like you didn't work on weekends. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just work on weekends. And they're like, no guys, you don't work on weekends. So yeah, that's like had to learn a lot there. But yeah, joined Helio, built it from like the ground up, like made the GitHub repo, made like the first lines of code, and scaled it all the way to the top. Yeah, that was a fun time. Next slide. And this is kind of the success of it. So we raised like 3.3 million. This is like 2 years ago now, so that's pretty old. And then we just reached like 1 million users. And yeah, it's just really interesting going from like, being the first person on a team to having like 20 employees, like tons of devs, designers, sales, like everything. It's a really kind of valuable lesson. Going from like building nothing to building something. You learn so many really valuable things along the way that you wouldn't if you were to just like, go straight into working at Fang or something, right? And yeah, I learned a ton, scaled it up to what it is now. So next slide. Okay, so that was a bit of a yap, right? But I'm actually going to give you some like proper advice. And yeah, I'll just kind of go down the slides. So first one, to win hackathons. Okay, so the secret to winning hackathons, like if you're like in uni and like you just like want to make money, like I don't know, let's say that you want to make like 3K a month, 4K a month, just pay off your bills. Like I said, just do hackathons. Like especially crypto hackathons, there's like so much money going around. You don't even need to be technical. Like you can just use ChatGPT if you want, just to like code for you, You don't even need to have a product. You can just like demo Figma, or like you can just demo like a pitch deck, right? Like, if you're good at yapping, like people will give you money. Like that's like a secret. There's so much money. People just like want to hear buzzwords. They'll give you money. Yeah. So if you want to make like 3K, 4K a month in university, pay off your rent, do hackathons every weekend. They're all online. Yeah, that's the secret. Focus on getting nice UI, nice design, and get a good team. Next point, the higher the pain, more valuable the lesson. I mean, this is like really relevant, right? So, like, I believe that when you're like a student, you should really do things that are extremely painful, because there's like a certain set of like lessons to be learned from doing things really painful, right? And if you do painful things that no one else does, you kind of gain a competitive advantage from the pain that you've endured, right? Like, I don't know, like I said, not many devs, but there's a common term for like building in crypto. It's called like eating glass. So like, if you eat enough glass and you do things that other people don't want to do, you learn lessons that other people won't learn. And those lessons are valuable. Build projects in uni. Yeah, so this is like a really important one. Like, there'll be like old people that will be like, oh, like you're a student, you're young, like you can't really do anything. Like they're all wrong. Like they're so wrong. You can like do whatever the fuck you want. In fact, you should do whatever you want because you're a student. And like if it goes wrong, you can just be like, oh, I'm a student, So I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you have a lot of free time. You can take like a lot of risk. It's valuable being a student. Yeah, Super Team Earn. I mean, shout out to Super Team. They've got like good bounties. So if you want to make some extra side cash, do some bounties on Super Team Earn. Hackathons, like I said, hackathons are great. Also accelerators. I don't know if there's an accelerator here in St. Andrews. No? All right. Well, you can probably find one in like London or something. Like if you're young, just like build a startup. Like just build a startup. You learn a bunch, like with your friends. It's fun if you like that stuff. Like raise money, like make all these mistakes. Like it'll probably fail, to be honest, but you learn a bunch of really cool things. And yeah, also like, especially in crypto specifically, like there's so many great examples of like young students who aren't experienced, but they're just smart and they work hard, doing like amazing things, like industry-leading things. Like for example, I was a student, basically a student that dropped out after 2 years, started Helio. Now it's like, now it's massive. I mentioned Pump Fund at the start. Pump Fund was started by like 3 guys in Oxford Uni. Like they were students in Oxford Uni, and now it does 15 mil a day in fees. So like, unlimited money glitch, I'm just saying, don't start a startup. Yeah, okay, this one's a little bit like technical, but like 99% of products are in TypeScript, Next.js. Like if you're a dev, a lot of people will say like, oh, learn smart contracts, learn like Rust, Solidity, stuff like this. No, just learn like full stack web development and just do like crypto projects. There'll only be like one smart contract developer on a team of like 20 full stack devs for most companies. Be incredibly enthusiastic and extroverted. Yeah, so when you're young, like, the one thing you don't want to be is like an NPC, right? Like you don't want to be an NPC because like then you're not special, and then you kind of don't have a competitive advantage, right? Like, I mean, like I'm up on this stage, like you guys probably get the gist. I'm a little bit like eccentric, but to say the least. But yeah, like it's a competitive edge, like to be like out there, to be enthusiastic, and like especially like older companies, like they love the young energy that you bring in. Like that's like one of your most valuable assets. So yeah, like if you're an introvert or like an NPC, you're trying to apply for a job, like you're not gonna really make it. Sorry. Yeah, like I said, do stupid things in uni. It's like the best time to do it. Yeah, like 100%. Like if you're gonna rug a project, you should rug it in uni, because then you can say that you're a student. Get X. Yeah, X is like really important if you want to like find a job, or if you want to like meet a bunch of like smart people. The best way to think about X is like, it's like a billboard for like billionaires, So like all the billionaires, they spend not even billionaires, just like high net worth individuals, powerful people. They spend a lot of them in tech, in crypto specifically, spend a lot of their time focused on X. So if you can go viral, get the attention of some like powerful people, there's a lot of serendipity that comes from that. Like, just go back one slide. I got a reply from Elon Musk. It's pretty cool. That's my claim to fame. Didn't get me anywhere, but it's a flex. It's a flex. Yeah. LinkedIn is like pretty useless, like unless you're an NPC, I guess. Next slide. Yeah, and that's it. Like LFG, those are my socials. Add me.